Greetings, y'all, and welcome to the 5th day of Kwanzaa. We are now on NIA. Shout out to all the NIAs out there. Shout out to y'all. This is about purpose. The symbol is beauty as well. Okay, so let's get into it. Of course, before I start the ceremony, I would ask my elders, do I have permission to speak? My elder would say yes or no. If I get the okay from my elder, I will go ahead and commence the ceremony, okay? So remember, black is for the people, red is for our struggle, and green is us overcoming the struggle, right? So we are now on the 5th day of Kwanzaa. So what I do is light the black candle. Then maybe I would get one of my kids or husband, like everyone could light a candle, right? Because we're definitely at 5 candles. So that's something you could also do, right? So maybe my husband would like this one. And then my daughter would like this one for my other daughter. And then 5, my other daughter. You know, right? This one we gotta build on it. There we go. Yes, okay. So after that, I would take the unity cup, right? Kikombesha umoja. Put my intentions, love, prayers in it. And the reason, you guys might see in traditional Kwanzaa that people take a sip from the cup. But of course, we've gone through a pandemic and everything in 2020. So putting my intentions and love into the cup, bringing it around one family member at a time or around the group so they can also put their intentions and love into the cup, right? Once I get the cup back, I'll open it and proceed with the libation ceremony. I just heard Michael Jackson, Ashe, Prince, Ashe, Whitney Houston, Ashe. Okay, so all the singers are coming out today, right? Of course, I would let anyone else shout out who they would want to pay respect and honor to that has passed over or passed on. And we would definitely do that for them. And then we would go around the circle and talk about what NIA means to us, what purpose means to us. Now, if you look on the official Kwanzaa website, NIA talks about maintaining our legacy in our community that, as people of African descent, we have a very rich legacy and we have a very important role in mankind. Just maybe we could go around and talk about the Dogon tribe and what they've done for astrology or astronomy. We could talk about Egypt. We could talk about Ghana, Mansa Musa, just all of our ancient historical figures who have given so much to mankind. Papyrus, paper, the violin, the drum, like there's just so many things, right? And of course, if you read the book, The Miseducation of the Negro, it definitely talks about that. How we're not taught all the beautiful things that our ancestors have done as people of African descent, and we're miseducated on who we are as a people because of that. And many other ethnicities are miseducated by us as well because it's not taught, right? And we could get into the school system and all that, but that is, of course, a different story. So, y'all know I could go on a tangent. But anyway, let's go to our African geographical fact, and then we will talk about our historical figure. Did you know that the Sahara Desert is the largest desert in the world, and of course in Africa? It covers 9.2 million square kilometers. The more you know. Okay, let's talk about Dr. Mary Bethune. So, it's hard to even know where to begin because her legacy is just so rich and so wide. Born to former slaves, one of the youngest of 17 children, walking 8 miles to school every day and coming back home and teaching her siblings what she learned at school, creating a schoolhouse, making the desks by herself, the students using elderberry for ink, burning wood so that they can get pencils, like just things that are seem absolutely absurd to those of us in modern day. But all of these things not only allowed her to have a school for Negro women and girls, but also it became Mary Bethune Cookman. July 13th, 2022, which was just last year, Bethune became the first African American to be represented with a state statue in the National Statuary Hall collection of the U.S. Capitol. She led voter registration drives after women gained the vote in 1920. In 1924, she was elected president of the National Association of Colored Women's Clubs. And in 1935, she became the founding president of the National Council of Negro Women. Bethune also played a role in black voters with becoming, if you know anything about American history, right, a lot of black votes were going towards the Republican Party because Lincoln was a part of the Republican Party. And under Lincoln's presidency, we have the Emancipation Proclamation, which freed the slaves, which freed a lot of our ancestors, right? Which is up for debate because the 13th Amendment, if you read the 13th Amendment, then you'll understand that slavery isn't fully out of our Constitution. There are different forms of slavery going on in our government. And if you Google the 13th Amendment, you have to be very careful because Google will not give you the full 13th Amendment. So you have to make sure that when you research the 13th Amendment to understand what's going on with slavery in our country today, that you get the full amendment, okay? Because there are things like that going on out here where things are getting regulated and cut off and only segments and snippets of things and information are given to people. And that is why it's so important for us to share our stories, whether you are from the Caribbean, the South, California, London, sharing your family stories and your family history and having a record of that is very, very important, okay? And each one teach one for sure. Bethune became the highest ranking African American woman in government when President Franklin Roosevelt named her Director of Negro Affairs of the National Youth Administration. This is where she remained until 1944. She was also a leader of FDR's unofficial Black Cabinet. In 1937, Bethune organized a conference on the problems of the Negro and Negro youth and fought to end discrimination and lynching. In 1940, she became vice president of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored Persons, the NAACP, a position she held for the rest of her life. As a member of the advisory board that in 1942 created the Women's Army Corps, Bethune ensured it was racially integrated, appointed by President Harry S. Truman. Bethune was the only woman of color at the founding conference of the United Nations in 1945. She regularly wrote for the leading African American newspapers, the Pittsburgh Courier and the Chicago Defender. And additionally, Bethune was a businesswoman who co-owned a Daytona, Florida resort and co-founded the Central Life Insurance Company of Tampa. She's been honored with many awards, and Bethune's life was celebrated with a memorial statue in Washington, D.C. in 1974, and she has a postage stamp in 1985. Now, let's relate this all back to NIA for Kwanzaa. If you look on the official Kwanzaa website, they actually shout out Dr. Mary Bethune and her point concerning our current status as heirs and custodians of a great civilization. So she quotes that we as African Americans must recognize that we are the custodians as well as heirs of a great civilization. We have given something to the world as a race, and for this we are proud and fully conscious of our place in the total picture of humankind's development. Never ever for once take your purpose, your life purpose for granted here on this physical plane. The few steps we make, any of us, it's a collective effort and we do need each other. So no matter if you feel like that's been there, done that, people have done that and I can't do it, yes you can. Okay, so just giving you guys some motivation because that's definitely what NIA is about. Talk to your loved ones about NIA and purpose. I'm so happy you've been able to rock with me for 5 days, or even if you're just coming in and joining us on this Kwanzaa celebration. Thank you so much, Ashe. And I'm just absolutely honored to be able to give this information to you all, and that the divine even allowed me to tell me to put on like a Kwanzaa special for you guys. Okay? So, yes, Mary Mcleod Bethune. Thank you, Dr. Mary Mcleod Bethune.